Hello stock traders, I hope all of you had a successful trading week. The end of the week was definitely tougher than the beginning. It seems that the looming possibility of a government shutdown kind of affected the markets on Friday. In today's video, I'm going to recap what happened on Friday and some of the different picks that we had in the group. I'm also going to give you a new top 7 list for Monday, and there are some changes to it. We're also going to do a recap of all of the insider trades that happened over the week and a win rate with an average gain. I like to do that to just kind of see how those insider trades are working. They have been continuing to do very well, and we are coming up on some of the best times for insider trading coming to January. January is king for insider activity, and so really looking forward to that and looking forward to finishing off the month strong. Hopefully all of you have good results in the stock market. Okay, so if you had the top 7 from Thursday's video, then you would have had a 2.01% gain on Friday. If you were equally in each and every one, that's a pretty good day, really, considering, especially since the market was down. There were some picks on there that did very, very well. Now, that is if you were equally in each and every one, and if you got a decent entry point, not even a good entry point, but a decent one. Personally, I had a 2.43% loss. The reason why I did is because I have some call options, and they did not do well. And so I had some bad luck with some of those, and they kind of dragged my portfolio downward. Month to date, if you were following the top 7 closely, you should be at a 9.96% gain. That's pretty good. My personal month to date, with not only the different call options that we have in our standard group and then also the insiders that are in our basic group, my month to date gain is 17.23%. So I'm doing a little bit better than the list. Year to date, I am at a 1,128% return. So doing very, very well. Looking forward to finishing the year off right and having the best year I've ever had. Previous to this, my best year was last year, 2019, for a 232% gain. And so it's really nice to see that, especially with everything that's happened on the world. It's been a challenging year for sure, and it has not been easy. Day trading on Friday, I did none. I didn't see any of the setups that I like, and if you don't like any of the setups, you know, I'm a big believer that you have discipline as an investor and you do not invest. I like to use Webull, however, for all of my trading, and the reason why I do is I can trade as early as 3 a.m. and as late as 7 p.m. at night. So that gives me very, very good flexibility. If I have a stock that runs and it's late in after hours, let's say 6:30 at night, and all of a sudden it starts to run, I can trade that stock. Or if I have a stock that runs and I've set up a limit sell or limit buy as early as 3 a.m., I can either get that buy or sell. And this is all central time. But right now they are doing a special, and we have a link in the description down below. You get 1 free stock when you sign up and 2 more when you deposit money. If you're looking for a powerful broker, highly recommend that you check them out. They have a lot of great tools, and it's a very good service. I like it a lot. So I only have 1 sale to report from the top 7, and that was I sold NKE for a 4.42% gain. So I sold Nike. They had terrific earnings like I knew they would. They beat earnings so many times in a row. It was a very high probability play, and I was able to make money off that in after hours and have a nice little gain. Okay, so now for the top 7 review, and all these picks are called out immediately in our Patreon group, and we have a link in the description down below. This is a great place if you're looking for a great strategy. We cover our insiders in there, even in the basic room. The insiders that we cover and everything that we go through is really good. A very high win rate. For example, if you would have taken $30,000 at the beginning of the year and you would have followed every single insider pick I had for the entire year, that same $30,000 would now be worth $379,284. So that is a fantastic return. These insiders have been really, really steady, and I'm going to kind of talk more about that. The only month they did not do well was March. Everything did poorly in March. I'm going to cover these insiders and do the top 7 review, and you're going to see some of the returns that we had this last week, and it was just kind of an okay week. Okay. Very first one is CNNE, sold for a 4.1% gain. A lot of these you'll remember. ATCX, sold for a 0.3% loss. BOXL, sold for a 0.53% loss. MOTS, sold for a 2.87% gain. MNKD, sold for a 9.23% gain. KRMD, sold for a 13.2% gain. COTY, sold for a 1.5% loss. ARDX, sold for a 4.55% gain. LAZY, sold for a 5.6% loss. AAOI, sold for a 2.7% gain. ATI, sold for a 1.7% loss. TACO sold for a 0.65% gain. CAR sold for a 0.61% loss. PDLI sold for a 2.33% loss. And MTEM sold for a 2.8% gain. So MTEM was one from Friday that was sold. And so that is 15 total picks. 8 of them were winners. That's a 53% win rate. The average has been 70% for the year. The average gain per pick is 1.84% gain per pick. Average has been a 3% gain per pick, an average of 3 days invested, and an average of about 5% a week. And so that's what's been so great about that. Okay, so let's get to the top 7 and others and kind of cover them. Lots of great stocks to have. The first one is AAPL. So I still have Apple. This one is not an insider, so there isn't really a lot to kind of talk about. On Friday, this finished down 1.59%. My average in it's $127.36. And since calling this out, it is down 0.16%. This is actually a pick of a friend of mine who expects this to go up. I love the analyst targets on this as high as $160 a share. And so I think Apple is going to do well this next coming week. All right, the next is Mustang Bio, MBIO. So this has been on the list a few days and it's really done very well. On Friday, this finished up 0.98%. My average in it's $2.89. And since calling this one out, it is up 9%. So this one is doing pretty well. And Lindsay Rosenwald, MD, bought at $2.66 in open market. I love it when doctors buy shares in the company that they work for. Analysts have an average target price of $10.75. So there is over 300% upside according to analysts on this. That's just the average. Some of these are really high. And with the insider activity, you can be assured that there's no offering. There's nothing negative coming up. Probably a positive event coming up, or there's a drug that this particular doctor is working that they're working on. That's what the insider activity tells me. And this has been my experience, is that there's good news to be released. And so I'm expecting Mustang Bio to do fantastic this next week. If you don't own it, this is a good time to get in. It is really not shot up yet. There's still quite a few days and I think this is a good one to get in. Number 7, so now to the top 7, is Allied Esports, AESE. We've had this one on the list for a little while. On Friday, this finished down 1.35%. My average in it is $1.27. Since calling this out, it is up 16.54%. So it's done very well, really. Had it about 4 days, and so it's really doing well all this last week, and that's a really good gain. United Pastures bought $600,000 worth of shares, and then Roy Choi, director, bought $600,000 worth of shares. And so there's 2 different ones, and they were different amounts at different open market, and analysts have an average target price in this stock of $3.75. And so that is really nice. That is almost a 300% upside. And so looking for Allied Esports to continue to do well. The next is ELYS. And this one's been on the list. And I know some of you have probably sold this thing and you're probably kicking yourself right now. Because man, since I called this out, it is up 35.51%. It continues to surge and it's really doing well. And this is ELYS Gaming. And on Friday, this finished up 19.66%. My average in it's $3.21. Because I stuck to my guns and stuck to my strategy, I am sitting nice and up in it. Hopefully you are too. But the CEO bought shares at $3.02. And then again at $3.78 this last week. And so there's lots of insider activity. Also, Gold Street Capital has loaded up and bought shares at $3.06. Analysts have an average target price on this of $5.36. And now there's some analyst targets starting to be thrown out right around $7 a share. And so this is one that could have quite a bit of upside left in it. I love how it's going. I'm in a fantastic position, so I'm planning on holding this one. I may sell if it gets, somewhere crazy, but really loving the price action on this, loving how it's working. All right, number 5 is Selecta Biosciences, SELB. On Friday, this did finish down a little bit, down 2.60%. My average in it's $3.01. Since calling this out, it is down 0.33%, so just barely down. If you're looking for a good stock to get into this next week, let me explain to you why I think Selecta Biosciences is that stock. Now, number 1, it hasn't really moved up yet. Analysts have an average target price of $6.71, so that is over a 100% gain. So I like that. Also, I love it when doctors or chief medical officers or so on and so forth, someone who is working on any kind of drug that's in the pipeline, when they buy shares, I really like that as an investor. And the chief medical officer bought 40,000 shares this last week. I like Selecta Biosciences for that reason. High analyst target, was able to get in and on good. You can get on it good also because it really hasn't moved up yet. So you've been kind of given this gift in that it hasn't moved up yet. But the chief medical officer bought 40,000 shares. These aren't gifted shares. These are shares that were spent with their own money. So I think that SELB is going to do very well. This is a good stock to get in. All right, number 4 is Pennant Park Investment Services, PNNT. And this is in the financial sector. And I typically steer clear of the financial sector. But on Friday, this finished up 3.60%, and there is a lot of possibility for a move up on this. Analysts have an average target of $5.18. Also, this stock is really low float, so this thing could fly with even just a little investment. And sometimes I like those. These are really good. So this is going to be volatile, and it's going to move upwards, I think. I think there's good news behind it, especially with the insider activity that can really make it burst upwards. And my average in it's $4.51 since calling this out. It is up 1.77%. And Samuel Coots, director, bought shares at $4.47. So I think it's going to fly this next week. I think it's going to do really well on Monday, especially with some of the news that's already come out this weekend. I think that we could be sitting on a gold mine here. Should be really good. All right, number 3 is GTYH, and this is GTY Technology. And on Friday, this finished up 14.50%. My average in it's $4.46. And once the insider activity happened, I was able to analyze it and call it out to our group. And since calling it out, it's only up 2.02%, but it has so much more to go. Analysts have an average target price on this of $10 a share, which is more than a 100% upside. So William Green purchased shares in open market, $4 a share. And I could tell it was not part of an offering. This looked a little funny because it was an exact even number. Well, how I knew that was because the total amount bought was $239,820, which means that the average was $4 a share and that it was open market and there is no offering on this company. I checked. And so I'm looking for this one to really do well. It was a very bullish transaction and it really hasn't moved very much yet, but I think it will. All right, the next, number 2 is CYTH. This is Cyclotherapeutics. Okay. So the insider activity happened on this and then it flew. It just really flew upwards. This thing got up to 80% up in pre-market. I was trying to enter. I had a limit buy on it and it went way up and I didn't chase it. And then I thought I saw a turnaround happening. I thought I saw it hit bottom. I was wrong. So anyway, on Friday, this finished up 17.93%, so it dropped quite a bit. My average in it's $6.46, so not the greatest of averages. Since calling this out, I am down 14.76%. Hopefully, we get this moving upwards soon. And so Patrick Ostronic, director, purchased shares at $4.63, and a new price target of $12 a share was announced. And so those two things together, you can especially get a great deal on this stock. I do think it's going to go upwards. I'm expecting that it will hit $9 a share next week at some point. And so this is a good one to get in. Analysts think it's worth $12 a share, and that's the lowest analyst target it's ever gotten. Most of the analyst targets are in the stratosphere for this company, and I like the insider buying too. And so I think this one could fly. It's got a low float, so it's one that can do really well. All right. Next is MCFT. This is number 1 on the list. This is Mastercraft. And on Friday, they had some insider activity that I found very intriguing. On Friday, it finished up 1.65%. My average in it is $26.50. So I did jump the gun a little bit. Wanted to get into this before it flew. It is a low volume stock, so be careful how you enter. But since calling this out, it is down 2.64%. But I think that's just very temporary. I think this one's going to continue going upwards. And also this stock has been climbing. 2 different directors bought shares in open market and both of them paid about what I paid. So I'm expecting this one to do well. Analysts have an average target price on this at $34 a share. So there's some upside there. And I think Mastercraft is going to do great, especially if we get a stimulus deal. I think that that company will just kind of benefit. I do a lot of work for this list, so if you could please do me a favor and hit that most amazing and wonderful like button. Also, if you were to share this video with your friends, I'd be honored by that and would appreciate that. If you haven't done so before, please subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you get notified when one of these videos come out. Wishing you all the very best this next week. Looking forward to a fantastic week trading and wishing you all the best. Raythoven out.